Hello everybody, my name is Darren Seidel and I'm here to present a little topic for our ruminant nutrition course. In my topic of choice, I decided to look into using microbial feed additives to affect ruminal microbiota populations, and really what this boils down to is it's a detailed description of modern day ruminal probiotics. I was curious about investigating some type of probiotic information. It's not necessarily a background that I have prior to this class, but it's something we've talked about in class that just drew up a type of curiosity about, because nowadays, especially with the whole dynamic of antibiotic-free based meat and some of the stuff that we discussed, I felt like it was an important topic to background myself in. And I promise I am here. I'm just using kind of a dinosaur old laptop to record myself, so please take that into consideration as not being a critique. But anyways, we'll just get into exactly what microbial fed additives truly are. And by definition, through several sources, they are a live microorganism which is added to feed to influence positive gut health response and benefit host and microbial balance. So that's one of the few things in this presentation I'm actually going to read, but it re-emphasizes the general content of what I'm trying to talk about today. So if I, in this presentation, use MFA or probiotic interchangeably, they really truly mean the same thing. So probiotics, it's this trendy kind of industry-related gut health word that everybody's trying to equip into certain type of feed additives. But the unique part of it, digging into the literature of this particular topic, is the true different types of results that come from utilizing the same type of microbial feed additives. And I'll go a little bit more into detail about each of those aspects later on in my report. But looking up two of the feed additives that I've looked at so far, it seems that in one basic study of, say, 20 head of steers, researchers have found that some results have catered to the idea that there is a benefit and that there is some influence on a few microbes that already exist in the ruminant. But counteractively, some of the same type of research has been done at different entities and proves something completely different. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in this particular topic, and I'm really interested in kind of diving into it. And my three focus topics for this probiotic research project are Aspergillus oryges, and please forgive me with some of my pronunciations. That's one thing that I feel like I lack in a little bit, but I'm looking forward to trying to work through some of these pronunciations. And Lactobacillus sporgus and Clostridium burochrome. So I know that's really bad, I butchered it, but really essentially what it is broken into three particular probiotics that I want to look at, and the two types of those probiotics, one being fungal and one being bacterial. Two types of probiotics or bacterial that I'm going to look at, and one's fungal. So we have, I'll turn this a little bit more so you can see, and why are microbial food additives being used? As the definition in the previous slide alluded to, it's really kind of an alternative measure to antibiotics, and currently in industry trends, that's what consumers are wanting, for better, for worse, whether it's uneducated or educated consumers. As soon as they see something that's actually antibiotic free labeled on a product, it's a light bulb that might click off in their head, as unfortunate as this might be, because ultimately the ruminant itself and the microorganisms inside of it, just like we've talked about in class, have actually shown to have antimicrobial type defense measures to help themselves and give them a competitive advantage inside of the ruminant. So really and truly, from a ruminal standpoint, there's not any type of meat that can be truly labeled antibiotic free, because there's antibiotics produced by the microorganisms in the ruminant. So moving on, they're looking at production improvements. So if we add anything into a feed, ultimately what we're trying to do is enhance the growth or production aspect of that particular animal. And you see this, so if a probiotic is added, does it influence the right type of bugs in the gut of, say, a steer to be more conducive to current markets? And I guess that's the interest that spawns a lot of this research, or the idea of not knowing exactly what some of these products can do. And getting back into it, I know the generic points that I have displayed are animal agriculture and gut health, but as you may have seen in some recent publications and recent seminar talks, a lot of emphasis in the industry is being placed on this gut health idea. And I think it's important to kind of, for myself at least, try to background myself as much as I can as to what's really going on here. And the two companies I have displayed right here is Alltech and Diamond Feed. Those are two of the biggest current ball players in the probiotic field, and I thought it was important to include those in this presentation as well. Now we get this little pop-up factor here, and under this, hopefully everybody can see it within this recording, but I dug up 3 of the most eye-popping pictures as far as the antibiotic type trends, and the big one right here on the left that takes up most of the screen is actually the one from that Forbes published, and it goes into a lot of detail of what consumers would want and what consumers are profiling their meat based on. And the unfortunate thing is statistics, like Dr. Calloway said once upon a time, 87% are made up right when somebody's talking. So they could have easily selected some of their field for finding out whether they wanted to get this information or not. But long story short, I know it's a problem, and a lot of producers do the best they can under the circumstances of their production aspects. But if you look at it from just kind of a human side, health side in general, if something's sick, you want to try to do everything you can to make that animal better. You want to make a human better. You want to make your family better, for instance. You're going to use whatever medicine you have available. Well, I think that's the same principle in the agricultural industry, and there's been enough research on approved products that gives enough offset or non-slaughter type time frames based on if you've used some of these antibiotic medications, or if you've even used antibiotics. Sometimes you can't even fit on a particular grid system based on antibiotic usage. So it's important, the industry knows it, and that's where probiotics kind of spins around again. So my ruminant nutritional report goals, and I know this is a lot to take in, but I'll just go through it fairly quickly. I've broken down the microbial feed additives that I'm looking to look into, and after going into the report, I wanted to say that I broke it down a little bit different as far as what my focus I want to get out of it. So if I'm just trying to find out what these 3 particular MFAs are doing, I want to see what type of microbiota they influence, what happens afterwards, the VFA end product differences, and then from there I'm going to take 2 peer-reviewed articles from each of these 3 type of MFAs and report detailed on the whole report itself and what the findings were. And I hope to get some of what those influences of the microbiota are, what starch fermenters, potentially what forage fermenters they've influenced in their addition. This is a quick slide. If I do have one thing that I want to mention, and I know I'm getting close on time, please, if you get a chance to, I know it's something that we do sometimes and we look over our textbooks very quickly, but take a look at Dr. Jim Russell's microbiology textbook for this course that Dr. Calloway's profiled for us. It's a great resource. On table 9.1 is where you'll find these actual fermenting bacteria broken down from starch sugar fermenters to forage fermenters. It's a great resource. If you're having trouble with anything, look it up. Those are my references for this presentation, and thank you for your time.